This is the Bear Country Outdoors Barely a Podcast. I'm your host, Doug Joyce, and with me is James Forsland and Chris Cantrell. Thanks for joining.
So here we are. We're finally back doing the podcast. It's been a minute, and we'd like to start off about talking about the opener for bear season just finally opened. It's August 2nd. It started yesterday. And we're hoping that everyone gets out there and puts the hammer down on these bears, because we know that the predator problem here in Washington is starting to show its face.
Yep.
And we're going to take it over to Jim and let us lead into a little bit about the cats that he's been having problems with.
Oh, yeah. So today we're going to talk a lot about big cats and carnivore stuff in general. And we thought it'd be appropriate to do a cat conversation, considering that there was just a petition that was brought forward to make a year-round mountain lion season in units that do not fill quota. So it's not just like across the board, we want year-round mountain lion. Like, obviously, there's still a quota for units, and the units that get their quota filled will just shut down at whenever they're done, or after the normal season.
Right.
This petition is to allow a maximum season to try to fill the quotas that never get filled. So like Western Washington units, there's some in the eastern sections that don't get filled either. Some quotas are too low, in my opinion, in a lot of the eastern units.
Right.
I mean, we'll be honest, like I'd say half of the units are too low to begin with.
Yeah, because no one, honestly, here in the state of Washington, because you can't hound hunt, it's really hard to hunt cats. It's literally you got to call for them, or it's just a matter of luck if you see one.
Right. So maximizing time in the woods would be the only possible thing that
pretty
could
much
help.
Yeah.
That and educating people on how to hunt mountain lions more successfully without using hounds.
Right.
So I did see the other day, so we posted something on our social media platforms about this petition that was brought forward in support of it. And there was a fella on there, I want to say he was from Oregon or something, and he was telling me his group kills 2 to 3 mountain lions a year, and I was just like, without dogs and not using calls and stuff, and I'm like, I'm like, that's interesting.
That's kind of an eye opener,
right?
To me,
and I was like, what do you like? What I was very intrigued, and I was like, well, what kind of tactics are you using? Like, he's like, well, basically, we drive around on a fresh snow, and we'll drive around all night if it takes it, and staying up all night driving roads looking for tracks. And when we cut a really fresh set of tracks, then we'll start tracking them, and we'll track all day long until dark if we have to, chasing these cats as fast as they can, tracking them.
So they're literally trying to track these cats like dogs are.
Like dogs, yes. But they're men.
They're men, yeah.
Yeah. But they're actually doing it.
Yeah.
They're real men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes a man to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
He said something on his page like we go until our legs feel like jello and our lungs are burning, and I'm just like, dude, that's the level of commitment there. So
that's some hardcore shit right there, guys.
For those of you who are out there that are in really good shape that want to try to get a cat, I'd say try it.
Give it a go.
Let us know how it turns out. We'd love to hear if that's
bring a tent and a sleeping bag.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
And a
get ready to sleep in your car.
Some sort of emergency satellite spot system or something.
Just go. I waited 23 miles into the wilderness and got lost at dark.
I'm stuck.
Yeah.
I'm lost.
Yeah.
I mean,
don't do that, guys.
I'd be willing to try it if I had the right circumstances and a partner that I knew I could count on.
Yeah.
With me, but I don't think I'd be doing that solo that long and that deep. Like, if I knew where I was and I knew I was like close enough to a road. I mean, cats are smart too. Like, you get on they kill dogs
you
all the time.
could get on a cat real easily, and then next thing you know, that cat's following you.
Right,
up
or on
its
top
own
of you,
up the same trail.
And speaking of, like, cougar attacks, that was just this week, 8-year-old girl was attacked by a mountain lion up in the Olympic. I think it was in the Olympic National Forest, wasn't it?
And that is a perfect tie-in. Segue. Here we go, Stephen Ranella.
There we go.
To our Washington State Fish and Game Council, trying to push forward this new plan to get rid of all predator hunting.
Yep. So large carnivore.
Large carnivores, yes.
Mm-hmm.
The cute, cuddly, anthropomorphic little bears and little kitty cats. That eat little kids. It's not a big deal, but we should end all hunting in Washington State and just let it figure itself out, because that's the way things work.
It might work out as good as the homeless population.
I don't know if you guys can capture the sarcasm that we got going on here. It's very, very thick, guys.
So just to touch on that, I'm going to put my readers on here. So there's this. If you look on the Fish and Game website, they have a PDF of sorts, a brochure, if you would like to say. Unfortunately, it's from 2018, and it's from the Western Wildlife Outreach, which was the group that Lauren Smith was a part of. So you can guess which way they lean on hunting. So shame on you, Fish and Game.
Yeah.
We're not a fan of the Western Wildlife Outreach, but they said you are 1,000 times more likely to get struck by lightning than attacked by a cougar.
That's
in Washington.
Yeah, I disagree.
Now, funny story. I Googled it because I have the power of the internet in my hand, and I looked up some data, and they have like lightning strike deaths, right? Like national across the board, and there was like I think 3, maybe 4 states, and all of the states that in the last 15 years did not have a recorded death by lightning strikes. Guess which was one of them?
Washington.
Yeah, big shocker.
Oh,
Guess how many little kids got attacked here in the last couple weeks? And like we get cougar attacks are happening more and more.
Yeah.
And black bear attacks are happening more and more. But we should ban the hunting of them, because that will fix the problem. Because then more people will get eaten and killed. So that's the logic behind this.
See, the problem is with a lot of this
our game commission. Yeah, that's the problem.
Well, they are the problem. But the problem with the logic behind it is that
I'm sorry. It was straight to the point. The game commission is just totally blowing it, guys.
That's a problem. It's Inslee too, and we should throw Trudeau under the bus too,
and Bob Ferguson.
Yep,
Let's
Bob
just
Ferguson.
get it all out of the way.
Anyone else you want to throw under the bus right off the bat?
Anyone else?
So back to what I was saying here. So part of the problem is that people, these groups, these anti-hunting groups, and people in this mindset do not value human life as much as they value wildlife.
And that's true, 100%.
And that's where there's a major breakdown, because what's happening is these people look at this as a statistic. How many people can be killed and have it be okay? So is it 1? Is it 5? Is it 10? Is it 100?
It's 0.
It's in my opinion, it's 0.
It's 0.
So,
well, it's funny because you say that. It's like how many people can be killed, but like if it is gun related, oh man, it's the end of the world, guys. But no, if it's animal related, it's
like,
the people's problem.
And then and this is where I have a problem with Western Wildlife Outreach, is they place blame not on the fact that we haven't hound hunted cats in decades now. And as time has gone on, these cats have their own little social structure, and they're teaching them, from a young age, like stay away from humans, stay away from humans, stay away from humans. And as the separation happens, it's kind of like our society, how we just downgrade everything.
Right.
Yeah.
The cats get dumber and dumber and dumber and dumber and dumber, or smarter and smarter, depending on how you look at it.
Right.
And they do not have that fear of humans like they used to back in the 90s when they were getting chased by humans with dogs all the time, right?
Yeah. That's
So-
like it's like the cat and dog thing. They have no fear, period.
Right.
at all.
So I think that's a big problem. And what the Western Wildlife Outreach likes to do is say, oh, it's not the cat's fault. It's because we're in its environment that it's doing these things. And while some of that is true, and we obviously our footprint is getting bigger and bigger on wild places, and we're losing, we're losing some of our but I can guarantee you places like how many mountain lion attacks have you seen in Idaho or Montana this year?
To the best of my knowledge, I haven't seen any.
0.
Yeah.
I've been out in the woods like hunting for 20 plus years, and I have never had a mountain lion encounter.
You know how many? So where I hunt,
I've had quite a
few.
You've
had quite a few.
Yeah,
I know you've had some.
Yeah,
but that just goes to show that you just don't have a lot.
No, you don't have.
You don't have a lot,
but they're becoming more
and more active because you hear a lot more about all these cats that just come out of nowhere.
Yeah, right. The attacks, which you don't hear, like James was just saying, like it's a learned behavior, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when you can't hunt something, over the years it's a learned behavior. So I hunt in Montana, which you will not hear. But if you dig deep enough in the internet, there was the last year I hunted there a year or two ago, there was 4 people got attacked by grizzly bears, and I think 3 of them were killed. Right. And you don't hear about any, and that was just while I was hunting there.
There was just another one in Montana just last week, wasn't it?
And you never hear about that stuff ever. And
yeah.
So we went over, spoke with Randy, same thing. He's just like, oh, yeah, you guys want some grizzly bears? We'll give you some. And we're like, actually, the idiots in Washington are already like packing them in because that's a great idea. You know what we should do is we should let grizzly bears loose in Seattle and see how much they like them, because technically that's
still their wild areas.
Yeah, that's their range. So if you guys want to have grizzly bears, put them in Seattle. Take care of some of the homeless population. Get rid of some of the idiots down there.
There's plenty to eat down there, that's for sure.
I'm just saying.
A bunch of heroin needles and human shit.
Yeah, there'd be a bunch of hopped up grizzly bears.
It wouldn't be cocaine grizzly bear.
No.
It's the same logic as as a commissioner to push them. Why not? If you're gonna put them in Omak, put them in Seattle.
Right.
Yeah. If you go, we can't see them from our house.
And like the point I was getting at with how many mountain lion attacks have you seen in Montana and Idaho is those states run with dogs. Those cats are conditioned to stay away from people.
Yes.
And what you do see happening in places like Montana and Wyoming are grizzly bear attacks. And what are grizzly bears? Grizzly bears aren't hunted. They're federally protected still, which they should be delisted by now.
Yeah, they were,
and those bears have become more and more and more conditioned to humans and are getting ballsier and attacking people more.
Yeah, it's like the cats here in Washington.
It's like reversed, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we've had back to back years of mountain lion attacks on people in Washington State.
Yeah.
A little girl just got mauled a couple weeks ago. A little girl got tore to pieces and was lucky to be alive last year. And then the year before that was when the guy got ripped off his mountain bike up there by somewhere by Issaquah area.
Yeah.
And got eaten.
Yeah.
So
and it's not even just that. It's just people seeing and running into mountain lions in general.
And if you look at the map, so there's on Fish and Wildlife, there's a map that shows cougar problems or mountain lion problems, and they report by these little paw print things.
Right, yeah.
And it's just littered. The whole state is. Like, livestock is another big thing. Pets disappearing. Like, my neighbor just lost his dog to a mountain lion, the same one that attacked my horse and ripped my horse's back open in my backyard.
Yeah.
Like, it's becoming more and more of an issue.
Midday, I had one walking through here a couple different times.
They have no fear.
Less than 100 yards from your house.
No
30
fear,
yards.
No fear of humans.
No.
In the middle of the day, too, right?
Yeah. So my neighbors down below, we're on acreage here, and you can hear his kids playing through the woods. You can't see anything from my house, but I told him, I said, hey, just heads up, like, there's a cougar wandering around, and he has 5 kids. I'm like, it will eat your kids. And he's not a hunter. It's not his fault, but he doesn't realize, like, it's incredibly dangerous.
Right.
Incredibly dangerous. It'll snatch a kid up like that.
No problem. 2 seconds.
Yep. So it's the direction we're headed in Washington State is just, it's a scary direction where they're trying to, like, why would you stop carnivore hunting first? Why would you stop any of the hunting unless like let's say we went and wiped out all the deer. We have like almost 30,000 bears in the state. Let's say we went and shot 30,000 bears in 1 year, which will never, ever, ever happen. You couldn't. But then you'd be like, okay, pump the brakes, right? We don't have any bears left. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But we have all the bears, and they're just shutting it down because our commission's run by a bunch of idiots. So now here we are talking about, hey, we have this cougar problem. And what are they talking about? Shutting down cougar hunting.
Right. And the quotas are not even, they're not high.
No.
Like, there's small quotas. Like for like the 3-unit cluster up here, it's like five cats.
Well, I mean, if you see a lot of pictures of like, game cameras, you see cougars literally like right up the ass of a deer.
Yep.
Well, and they have no idea. That's how sneaky they are.
And back to the game cameras,
you're never going to see them.
Well, we never see them because like I'm big and I'm loud and I'm stinky, right? But at the same time, like I put a game camera out 50 yards from my house. Yeah. I see cougars all the time.
Yeah.
And so when James used to live up here, remember when Fish and Game came in, because we had cougars coming in, multiple cougars, and killing llamas and goats all over here. And they trapped 3 cats, I think, 4 cats, something like that, and killed them, right? Mm-hmm. And so and that's within 2 square miles of my house. And then you're going to say like for 500 square miles here in this unit, probably more than that, that we get 5 cats total. Like, well, if we have to physically hire and pay Fish and Game to come in and pay for the traps and pay for their time and pay for some guy out and pay for the bullets to shoot these cats. Like, what the hell? What's going on here, Fish and Game? Because you don't ever see the data on that. You don't see like, hey, by the way, we killed all these cats like they did after they canceled hunting in California. There's no cougar hunting. They killed, 500 cats, Fish and Game did?
I think it was more than that.
Yeah, like you don't ever get to see that data. That's not for free, by the way.
That is directly out of the taxpayers' wallets.
Yeah, but all these friggin'
when it could be flipped with
anti-hunting
income versus debt.
Yeah, and the anti-hunting people think like, oh, hey, big win for us. We canceled cat hunting. We saved all these cats. Like, no, you didn't. You're just paying Fish and Game to go kill them.
Yeah,
that's the only difference.
Yeah,
like good for you.
That's the only difference.
That's literally the only difference.
Because not that many cats get killed in this state by hunters anyway.
No,
they don't. If they were only the game department was dealing with those problems and killing the cats, the same amount of cats is going to get killed.
Yeah,
maybe even more.
But then, like, how many people go out, like bear hunters and say deer and elk and everybody else who goes on hunt? Like, we're going to go across the state. We're going to spend money on gas. We're going to pay for lodging. We're paying for food. We're probably going to the bar, and we're spending all this money to go on this cat hunt, right? Mm-hmm. Unsuccessfully most of the time.
Yeah.
But that's
because you never see them.
Yeah, but that's money into our economy. A lot of these local economies, and maybe we hire a guide here, maybe we, whatever, maybe we pay for a lease, but we're spending all this money to do this stuff, and now they want to shut it down. And the thing is that like the monetary value of hunting is not the tag.
Right.
It just doesn't make sense. Why would you spend money to have your government issued forest game department to go out there and kill the cats versus having people that are paying for these tags to go out there and literally put in the effort themselves to take these cats out
and utilizing the cats.
Utilizing
it for consumptive use for food and for
it's for money too, because a lot of people are gonna travel to come hunt cats because they got no other opportunity.
And most importantly, like, we're hunters. Like, in my like DNA, I had a really good talk with a guy who owns American Rifle Company. I think I told you a little bit about it. The guy is like light years beyond intelligent, and he's talking about helical strand DNAs, and they're 2.5 meters and this and all this nonsense. Anyways, he's like, there's certain things like in your DNA is just like who you are, right? And I'm like, I have a hard time articulating certain feelings, right? And I'm just like, well, like, what do you hunt? Like, it's just in me. Like, it's something I need to do. Like, I need to go and hunt and kill my food and eat it and provide for my family and all this. Like, yeah, I could go to the grocery store and buy some cellophane crap, but I want to go hunt. I want to be in the woods. Like, it's like good for my soul, to like climb a mountain.
It's fulfilling.
Yeah, 100%, And it's like, you're just going to take that away from millions of people because
it's our God-given right.
Yeah,
I agree.
And we had this talk with Randy, like, if you didn't, the difference between anti-hunters and hunters, this is a perfect example, is they don't like hunting, so they want to ban hunting, right? And like, say for instance, Doug or James or myself, like, say for instance, like I don't like Bud Light. Guess what? I'm not going to go buy it and drink it. I'm not going to ban it. Like, I don't like going to. Well, now that I'm old, I'm not going to go like to the club in the middle of the night. I'm not going to try and go ban clubs.
Right?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if there's something that I don't like.
You're just not going to do it.
Yeah, I hate tofu. I think it's disgusting.
It's not going to be like,
but you don't see me
ban it.
Yeah, I'm not out
everyone
front
else.
Walmart with a petition saying, you got to ban tofu. This shit is disgusting.
Don't eat it.
Yeah.
It's like
we got to ban it. It's so gross. I don't like it.
Right.
And if I don't like it, no one should like it.
Right.
Like, that's 110% the mindset. And that's what we're seeing in our Fish and Game Commission right now, is because we got a couple of people in there that are just spoiling the pot.
And we're just scratching our heads going, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. These people don't make any sense, period.
I feel like we're going down to just a
a big, yeah.
dark
We're going down a rabbit
back,
hole.
Back to the cats.
Back to the cats.
Yeah.
So Doug could probably chime in with this too. So a perfect example, and that we're going to switch gears here from mountain lions attacking people to what kind of devastation mountain lions can have on ungulate populations in designated areas if they go out of control.
Yeah.
So a perfect example.
I've heard quite a bit of examples, not only just seeing them in person. I've heard people like tell me that wildlife biologists have been out there and doing research, and they say that a cat is probably going to kill at least one deer or some sort of
some other ungulate of that size.
Of that size at least once every 3 weeks. Right.
Yeah, but it's some cats, depending on the size.
Some cats. But then I've also heard, since we have a lot of wolves running around Washington, that these wolves are following these cats around and they're stealing their kills.
Yep.
Therefore, making the cats kill more. Because they have to feed themselves. Because normally a hunting cat is by itself, and a pack of wolves is therefore going to, overwhelm a cat over a kill.
Oh, 100%. They just
steal
run it off of it.
Yeah, it's just going to run it off.
So they follow them around.
Steal their kill. Therefore, the wolves are getting easy kill, easy food.
And then the cat's going, I just killed a deer yesterday. I have to kill another deer today. I got to kill a deer tomorrow.
Yeah, and we've ran into that before, and it's pretty devastating. I mean, they just jump right on them, and they maul them to shit.
Yeah.
And
if you want to see evidence of that, that was was that our first fall bear video?
Yeah.
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 A couple years ago. It's on YouTube. Go check it out. We came across a deer that had just got killed in the road.
Literally just got killed. The cougar was probably like, I don't know, less than 20 yards off the road, and it was probably sitting there waiting for us to leave.
Oh, yeah. He was.
And when we went back there later that evening, after we had hunted in that area, that deer was gone.
Yep. Pulled it off the road.
Now,
that ties in perfectly with the not the spring bear petition, the mountain lion petition for year-round. Or if you're not going to give us year-round, at least give us August 1st, the day that bear hunting opens, should open mountain lion as well.
The predator hunting should start at the same time.
We could have killed that cat easy.
Oh, 100%.
Had it been open, and it opened 2 days after that. That's the unfortunate part.
2 days after that.
Yep.
And then the following year, in that same area, Chris ran into 3 of them.
3 days before season open.
3 days before the season open. It's wild how that happens.
Back to the Fish and Game hating predators or loving predators.
Loving predators. They're hunting a predator.
And this is a perfect example of loving something to death, by the way, because they will literally love everything to death.
Literally.
Because it will all die. I was sitting there watching a pack of coyotes on this farmer's field across this draw. I mean, shit tons of coyotes running everywhere. I mean, I'm talking like a big pack of coyotes. And I'm like, man, I sure would. So we're bear hunting, right? And I'm thinking like, I didn't know so these guys know all the farmers over there. I didn't know the farmers, but they were like 750 yards, and I'm like, I'll shoot the shit out of a coyote at 750, no problem. And I think I don't remember if I had the 20 nozzle or 300 Ultra Mag with me, but anyways, I'm sitting there and watching these coyotes. Like, man, I wish I knew that farmer's field. But if they come across this draw, they're
gonna die.
I'm gonna turn them into coyote soup,
Yeah,
because we're predator hunting. Period. Like I want to shoot a bear, but I will shoot all the coyotes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've ran into those farmers before, and they're like, shoot them all.
I wish I would have.
They're all cattle ranchers out there, and there's tons of free-range cattle.
Yeah.
And it's a problem to them. So we're literally trying to help them out at the same time as we're trying to hunt.
Yep.
So,
and I'm getting ready. I'm like, okay, if they come across this draw, I'm gonna whack me some coyotes. I'm sitting there and I'm watching, and all of a sudden I catch a little moon. I'm like, oh, those coyotes are coming. And I look down in those woods, and all of a sudden I'm like, boy, that's a weird looking coyote. And I'm like, that coyote's got like a 4-foot tail.
yeah.
And it's a cat. It's a big cat. And I'm like, oh shit. And like, you have that. Oh shit. Is season open? I'm like, I know, like I know the game regs pretty well, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I'm like, oh no, season's not open. I'm like, man, I can't break the law. Shit. Like you have that internal check real quick. Like, are you a bad guy? Hold on. Damn it, I'm not a bad guy.
I'm not a bad guy.
I'm not 7.
Damn it,
I'm not 7 of the
these
wildlife
cats.
fish and game commissioners. I'm not a bad person. So I don't pull the trigger, and I sit there and I watch, and holy shit, here comes another freaking cat.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and these are big kids. They're like, if I had to guess, I would say they're not super young cats. They're like 80 to 90 pound cats.
Yeah.
I mean,
so it was probably a female with really older cubs then, or maybe they were just a group of smaller.
I think maybe
younger
like
cats
yeah,
running
like
together.
juvenile cats, but they were big. They were big. They were like I said, like
They weren't kittens. They were cats.
no,
Yeah.
they were like.
They were full-blown cats.
Well, I've seen all those videos of like cats running together in big groups.
Yeah,
Nowadays,
because
like,
they weren't small.
Yeah.
And I'm watching, and then sure as shit, here comes a third one, and I'm like, 3, and I mean, stem to stern, they're, I don't know, 7+ feet. Like these are big cats, and then I'm sitting there, and then I'm thinking like, all of a sudden I realize like I'm not a tough guy, and I'm like, oh shit, I can't shoot these things. And they're coming down the draw, and that draw winds up, and it comes right around the backside of me. And I'm thinking, like, dude, I'm shooting a bolt-action gun, and I don't run a bolt that fast.
Right.
Like, I could shoot a cat, but if they really want to eat me,
Yeah.
Yeah.
even though they're 80, 90-pound cats, and I'm a 270 to 280-pound guy, depending on how many donuts I eat, like...
Yeah.
Maybe if the season was open, it'd be a different story.
Yeah, like,
Season's open. It would have been first cat pops out, Chris's bang.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
bang, yeah, 100%.
Bang, bang, bang.
But then I'm like, oh shit, how do I sneak out of here? And like, obviously they, like typically they're not just going to go attack somebody, but at the same time, like,
You never
they're
know.
wild animals. Like, Google wild animal attacks. Look up Nature is Metal on Instagram. You'll see that like life is not sugar coated.
Nope.
Like animals kill people all the time, and they kill shit all the time. That's what they do.
If a predator's hungry, it doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah,
Yep.
they don't hop in their Honda Civic hybrid and go through the drive-through at McDonald's and get the fake meat burger or whatever the frick that crap is. They kill stuff and eat it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So it's exciting and terrifying to see one of those things in the woods, and at the same time, like the thought of being out in the woods and not being able to legally kill one, period, across the board is like incredibly disheartening. And same thing with like black bears. Like, I don't know if you follow Bear Country Outdoors on the Instas, but there's a great story up right now.
Oh, which one is that?
The one didn't you just post that the
reel.
Lorna? The reel? Oh, is it
the
a reel?
that he posted.
Oh no, I haven't posted it yet.
Oh,
It'll be out tomorrow.
It's
So
coming-
by the
coming
time you guys
soon.
hear this, it'll be on the internet.
oh, it's a dandy. It's a dandy. Let's just
Yeah.
say.
You'll see the reel before you hear this.
There's a-
podcast.
Oh
there's-
yeah, for sure.
How big do you think that calf is? 250 pounds?
Oh, dude, easy.
It is a huge calf.
Yeah, it's like a steer, dude.
Yeah, so unless you're tougher than a 250-pound cow, which you're not, by the way, I'm not.
Yeah, it's probably more like 3-4 hundo, dude.
It was big. It was big, and this bear
just grabs it and just boop.
After ripping its guts out. And,
dude.
It's nature is metal.
It really is.
Nature is a metal.
100%. It's actually, for all the pages that I follow, that one is probably one of the most interesting. Like, we kind of have like a policy, like if you don't follow us, we usually don't follow you back, right, on our Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one of the pages, like, I can't give it up because I'm like, dude, there's so much random, raw, nasty, like kind of like interesting but kind of cringeworthy stuff.
It's very like
100%.
I remember Joe Rogan talking about it, and I was like, oh, if Joe, I can, like, because me and Joe are tight, we're real tight on the Instagram,
super tight.
And I'm like, and I watch it, and I'm like, this is how soft I am, and I'm like, oh wow. And then you look at another video, and you're like, oh wow. Yeah. And then you look at another one, and you're like, oh Jesus, it's gonna ruin my day. I gotta tone this down a little bit,
right?
Like, oh boy.
When you see it blurred out, you're like, okay, this one's not gonna be a good one.
Because it is. It's like it's real life, and real life
just goes to show that you just can't give any mercy to those animals.
Not when you're thinking about predator hunting. So I don't want to give away too much of our up and coming film that we're working on right now, but there's some talk in that film about predators in general, right?
Yeah.
And why it is different in people's perspective of shooting and killing a predator versus a deer or a duck or a pheasant or any other game species that people think, oh, that's just like a traditional game species, right? Why is it that a bear or a mountain lion is so much more taboo? What is it that triggers people's brains to go, nope, that's not okay, but it's okay to shoot a deer or an elk or a pheasant or a duck or whatever?
Even that is just
I feel like the perception of eating a predator has always just not been the same until now. I feel like
is it simply that? Like,
I don't know. I feel like my perception has kind of been that way, for the longest time, because no one ever really was a bear hunter to eat meat, back in the day.
Well, they did it back in the day.
I mean, they definitely hunted them,
but there was a period of time. So back. Okay, you guys want to get into the history of it and all.
Here we go.
So
here we go.
Back in the early days of settling and stuff, bear meat was considered a delicacy, and so was mountain lion meat. In fact, mountain lion was the most sought after, like, wild game meat that there was. But somewhere along the line, somewhere in I would say probably the 30s or 40s or 50s, when they went on the predator killing spree and they wiped out all the wolves and they wiped out grizzly bears and they got rid of all the predators. Somewhere in that time period, there was a shift of people not wanting to eat predators as much pretty much at all.
Yeah.
And that kind of ruined it for a long time. And I think that's what kind of really distorted the perception of hunting predators. That's just my opinion. I mean, if you have another opinion, go ahead and leave a comment. And we'll go back and forth about it. But
I think a lot of it's television back in the day, pre-internet, like they anthropomorphize the crap out of like bears, especially, you know, but it's like they're always this big, lovable, soft, cuddly, and then not only that, it's always like the big bag hunter, and then we go out and we're hunting these poor things, and they always have like a cub or like a little, like, how cute is a freaking cougar kitten, like they're cute as shit. Well, the problem is everything is cute when it's little, and then it grows up and then it eats your kid. Well,
right.
I'm not saying they're all going to grow up and eat your kid, but they got the potential to grow up and eat your kid, and same with bears. So I think I don't know what's going to happen with a lot of that stuff, but I think that there's a lot of mixed feelings about it, and I think a lot of people that have never been in the woods and hunted them you just can't understand. If you've never done it, you don't understand.
No.
Like, it's like
Well, a perfect example of that is I saw a video a couple days ago of a cougar walking right into someone's campground, and they're standing out there and they're videotaping it, and this guy is yelling over to them, "Are you guys okay?" And the lady's like, the cougar's from here to the wall. It's less than 10 yards.
Oh, God.
And it's just walking right next to him. It's kind of got a very agitated kind of walk to it, and it's kind of like looking over at him, and they're just standing there, like walking up to it with their phones. And the guy's like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, we're okay." And they're just like videotape it. And I'm like,
people are so dumb.
People's just do not grasp the concept of danger. A mountain lion that's willing to walk into your campsite and be in close proximity with you in daylight is not right.
Like, think about
and that is a danger.
Those are the same people that are in Yellowstone and walk up to bison, right?
Exactly.
Oh.
Or grizzly bears.
They just get
Great segue.
Yeah,
So
100%.
2 weeks ago, I'm taking my family down to Arizona. My wife goes, "Hey, let's go to the Grand Canyon." I said, "Sounds great." So we're driving through. We're doing the South Rim. We're going through. It's starting to get dark. Like, "Hey, honey, come on, let's hop in. We're going to go down to Flagstaff, get a hotel, something like that." So we get in, and it's probably like, it's about dusk, and it's me and my wife, my daughter. My daughter's 8. She's sitting in the back, and I go, "Hey, honey, it's the witching hour." And she goes, "Dad, what does that mean? Is there going to be witches?" I'm like, "No, that means like these are when the critters are going to come out. Keep your eyes peeled. We could see some elk or some deer or something. It's really cool, right?" And she goes, "Okay, Dad, I'm looking." And we're driving through, and there's all these cars kind of half parked in the road because there's pull-offs where you can see everywhere. But we're in the woods now, and I'm like, "What the hell are all these cars doing over?" And I'm kind of driving around them. I'm paying attention. We're not going very fast. And my daughter goes, "Daddy, what's that?" And I look over, and I'm like, "What is that?" And I kind of I see all these big, I'm just stating facts here. These giant rotund, I think they're women. I'm not going to assume their gender, but like 350 plus sub 5.5 foot women standing there with the cell phones out, and I can barely see through them. And I look, and I can see some brown. I'm like, "What are they?" Oh my God! And there is a gigantic bull elk 7-8 yards away.
Wow.
Feeding, right?
Yeah. And they're just walking up to
and
it
there's
with their
like
cell phones.
There's like 10 people videotaping this elk from 10 yards and under.
Right.
And I'm just like, and I drive through, and I look back at my daughter, and she looks at me, and I go, "Dumb ways to die." And she's like, "What do you mean, Dad?" And I'm like, "That elk is 800 pounds, and it will stomp those ladies to death. And they are not in a physical position to get away from these elk. There is no way they're getting away, right?" And then I keep thinking about that, and I'm driving through, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I can't believe those ladies they're so dumb." Yeah. They're just so dumb. They're so just oblivious and ignorant, you know? And so we're driving through, and next thing you know, the car in front of me locks up the brakes, and here comes a little calf goes, screaming across the road. And I go, "Oh, honey, there's an elk. This is so cool." And we see some more elk, and I'm like, "Man, we might see some more elk." And so we drive past, and as soon as we get past, that car pulls over, like off the side of the road, to get out and take pictures of this cow and calf. And I'm like, this lady is definitely getting stomped to shit.
Yeah.
She's walked up to
especially the cow with the calf.
Yeah. And I'm just like,
that ain't going to care.
So dumb, you know? And then, by the way, I saw like a herd of 5 bachelor bulls when we were driving out. Just absolute smashers, by the way.
Absolute smashers.
I'm talking
Arizona's got some massive bulls.
Dude, just big, velvety, giant.
Huge
they were so big. They were so big.
100%.
But, that ties into the people they just don't know. And you see it all the time. Like the people in like Yellowstone, like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that lady."
Well, there's a whole page dedicated to Yellowstone attacks of dumb people getting attacked by animals.
And good. Yeah. Because if you're that dumb you think you can go out with like a grizzly bear or, a bison or an elk or whatever, like these are wild. It's not a zoo. They're wild animals. Like, if you get the shit stomped out of you, guess what? You deserve. It's called,
karma.
Yeah, like Darwin,
100%.
Full effect, right?
And the funny thing is not only are you unsafe, but your car is unsafe too. Because I've literally seen bison come up to vehicles and literally just start rubbing on them.
Oh yeah,
and just start rubbing the piss out of them.
And I would say with a fair amount of certainty that there's 0 hunters doing that. Not a single one.
No, they're not going to get out of their cars and go walk up to
Take a picture.
a bull elk to like 5
Yeah,
yards and try to take a picture with your cell phone.
Like I tell, like maybe
Right?
if I was trying to get divorced, I'd be like, "Hey, honey, come here, come get out of the car and come take a picture of this." You know, like,
right.
you know. But that's about it. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't. It's just it just blows my mind. But anyways, we did get a bunch of questions.
Yeah, should we shift momentum here? We talked about cats for a while.
Yeah.
And we said we were going to do a Q&A section tonight. So I'm going to rattle off some questions, and then we'll talk about them, and we'll just move on to the next one.
And we have the giveaway, right?
Oh, yes, we can announce that right now if we want.
Yeah, mid.
Chris, do you want to announce that giveaway?
Yeah. So we have a giveaway. We had a couple of hats that we didn't steal here from Tamarack. So they gave us some. They're like a kind of a camo hunter orange.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a nice breakup. You know, I don't like a solid orange hat.
No. Or solid joint vest or anything.
Yeah. And it's a pretty nice little hat. You know, when you're hunting modern here in Washington, you got to wear some hunter orange. And if you're in your state, wherever you're at, and you got to hunt modern, I'm guessing you got to wear hunter orange. So anyways, we're going to give that away. And we have, next to Doug there, a beautiful Black Rifle coffee cup. We're big fans of Black Rifle coffee.
It's a nice insulated mug. It's a big fridge. It's not a Yeti, but it's a big fridge.
Yeah.
It's just as nice as a Yeti mug.
Yeah.
But super nice. Keep your drinks cold or hot.
And how are we gonna win these things?
Just leave a comment. Yeah. Leave a comment on our
on the
YouTube
YouTubes?
channel.
On the YouTubes.
On the YouTubes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Go to the YouTubes. Like and subscribe.
Hit the smash that subscribe button.
Yeah.
Smash.
Yeah.
We're made so just so you folks are clear with our position here is we make $0. So $0, by the way. In fact,
I make negative dollars.
We're an informative group.
We do this for fun, basically. Yeah. There are some perks to it, like we get some free gear and this and that, and we get to meet some
which
really
we give
cool
away
people.
to you guys.
We're in this stuff for the people and for the experiences.
100% people and experience, because I just like the people you get to meet. We had, like this morning, James and I had a fantastic conversation with some folks at Loophole, and those of you who know me know how big of a Loophole fan I am, and it was a really, like, I don't know, like, you know, the older you get and the more things you've done, you've been around the world and seen all this stuff, it takes a lot for me to get excited or, like,
Right.
I'm not going to say happy, you know, because, like, I mean, I have an incredible life and a beautiful family and the whole deal, but, like, it was, like, I was really excited, you know,
Right.
like, I'm like, oh, man, like, because I really like that company. And same thing with, like, Black Rifle and Montana Knife Company, and
we get to travel and do really cool stuff, and we get to go on cool trips. And
oh yeah,
Yeah.
we get to do stuff that we normally wouldn't do. You know,
stuff like that makes it worthwhile. Like, you know, did I hemorrhage a massive amount of money so far this year? Like, yeah, most of you guys would be divorced right now. For sure.
I'd be broke.
it's all for the cause.
Yeah. Three bears in spring season when we don't even have a spring season in Washington.
Man. Dude, it's so good.
And just wait, we got another video coming out for the spring season.
Yeah,
It's
we just
real good. We just did a viewing, and
speaking
that one's gonna
of,
be out soon.
we're gonna do a little thing. I think we decided. We don't know how we're going to set it up yet, but so Doug was just finishing our Quinault Spring Bear. So it was, if you haven't been under a rock, you would know that we don't have a spring bear season in Washington State. So I went and paid to play at the Quinault Indian Reservation, which was totally worth it. It was a great hunt. Doug videotaped and put it together. So we are going to do a VIP screening. So behind this wall here, we have a 10-seat theater. And there's 3 of us, so I guess there'll be 7 of you guys. How are we going to do that? We don't know yet. But we are going to do a VIP screening.
Oh, we could probably fit in a couple more too.
We could probably fit in, yeah.
Just someone has to sit on the floor.
there's a little bit of standing room, maybe some crisscross applesauce room.
Right.
You know,
Maybe,
you never know.
Maybe if you're cute, you sit on my lap.
Maybe leave a comment about how you think that you should be involved in our viewing thing.
Yeah.
So, anyways, let's transition here.
So we're gonna move on to some Q&A.
Some Q&A from the listeners and from some of our
and
followers.
To preface this real quick, James would not let Doug or myself know what the questions were. So
no, I didn't. There's some good ones in here too.
If I sound like an idiot, it's
so
pretty usual.
I'm going to start at the top and I'm going to work my way down. So this one says, okay, hold on.
There must be a lot of them.
There really is quite a few.
Thanks, internets.
I'm going to start out.
Guys.
I'm going to start out with a funny one. So Robbie at Blood Origins sent a question.
Oh, I love Robbie, by the way.
He's a good dude.
Robbie,
I told him I would ask this question.
Robbie is a good dude.
We had a good laugh. He says, "Why is Chris so good looking?"
Oh, Robbie.
And the funny part is, I know why he's asking that question too.
So there's a little story. There's a little story behind this. So
Go ahead, do tell, Chris.
Do tell.
I met Robbie at a function here probably a year ago, and you see everyone on the internet, right? And in the internet is a highlight reel of everything. So when you meet someone in person, you know, typically you're disappointed. To be fair, like, so we're there. We're trying to.
That's
It's true. It's very
Don't
true.
get your hopes up, guys.
Yeah.
when you meet us, you're like, "Damn it!"
Yeah, you're like, I'm 6'4", and you meet me and I'm 5'3", and you're like, what?
What the fuck?
Come on, man.
Yeah.
So we're at this function with Robbie. I have big shocker. I have a couple beers, and he's like, "Hey, you guys want a whiskey?" I'm like, "I'm not gonna turn a whiskey down." And
I don't
you're
think
speaking
he
my
asked you if you wanted
language.
whiskey. I thought you were like,
hey, don't ruin the story. Don't ruin the story.
I think you found some whiskey. Okay.
He might have
Here we
hid
go.
some behind
Chris
some
is a
machinery.
bloodhound. He could sniff out a whiskey
I
anywhere.
love me some bourbon, man.
Yep. All right, keep going, dude. Keep going.
And so you're nervous at some of these things, right? So I have a couple cocktails, and we're standing there, and I'm looking at this guy, and again, like, I've seen him on the internet before, and he's a great guy. Like, what he does is fantastic. I was a huge fan, and I'm not a fanboy of really anybody, right?
Right.
Probably minus Jim Shockey. I'm a Jim Shockey fanboy. I like that guy, but I'm a fan, and I'm a couple post cocktails, and I'm standing there, I'm looking at him, I'm like, man, you are a really good looking guy. You know,
you're such a handsome guy.
usually when you do such great stuff, you know, and you're like such a
I
giver.
was laughing so hard. I'm like, what is wrong with you?
And I'm just like, I'm a heterosexual male, you know, and I'm comfortable with that. But I'm just like, man, you're a really handsome guy, you know, like in person, you're just like a pretty stunning human being. I know he's stunning on the inside, and on the outside, like, whew. And it was super awkward for everyone
dude,
except
I
me.
was laughing so hard, and I'm just like shaking my head, going like, "What the hell, Chris?" Like,
Sometimes you got to tell
sorry,
people.
I'm like, sorry, Robbie. Robbie's like, "It's okay. Like, that's awesome. Like, yeah."
With his super handsome accent too, by the way. He's got like this. Maybe it's because I'm a sucker for accents too, but I was just like, man, this guy's got it going on. I'm glad my wife's not here.
So, anyways, that's why he said that question. Is
Thanks,
because he was
Robbie.
kind of in a backwards way giving you a hard time.
Well, thanks, Robbie.
Yep.
We appreciate that.
Can't wait
one.
to have you on the podcast, buddy.
Yep.
Oh,
we'll
yeah.
have him on as
Yeah.
soon as he makes it over this way.
Good dude.
We're gonna have a bunch of great people on here pretty soon. Just wait, guys.
So this one is from Josh Capel, and he says, if you have a message for sportsmen in Washington, what would that be?
Open your mouth and your wallet.
Open your mouth and your wallet. And
Right now.
what for, Chris? What for?
So, as I'm sure you are aware, if you've listened to our podcast, that we, you might think like, man, Chris, you're really hard on Washington State Fish and Game Commission. I'm not hard.
think that?
That's an understatement.
I'm not
guys.
hard. To be fair, I'm not hard on all of them.
To be fair,
Right.
There's some good ones on there that do a great
but
job.
it's like 7-2 right now, right? We have
Right.
9 commissioners. 7 of them are ruining to state, and that's a very fair assessment of the situation.
we don't know for sure about a couple of the brand new ones, but
Well,
we
they're
have our thoughts.
most likely, right?
Chris is like, they're pointed by the gun.
Yeah. So here, and maybe the commissioners
I
should
hope
open
they
their mouths
surprise
and make their intentions clear, because I feel like it's 7-2 right now, in my very humble opinion, right? So the problem is we have millions of sportsmen that are about to lose more of their hunting rights. So, as you know, the Fish and Game stole our spring bear season for no reason. They didn't take it; they stole it, right? And so they got a little bit of a foothold, and so now they're basically trying to wipe out hunting in Washington. They're going to start with predators, right? They're going to start with bears and cougars, and they're going to take that away. And if and when they do, this is a big I told you so. Get off the couch. If you don't have time, if you work 3 jobs like I do, that's fine. I understand. You know what I'm doing? I'm opening my wallet because I don't have time to go out, and I don't have time to go to all the meetings, and I don't like James. We were listening to a deal today on the phone. It's a Zoom nonsense above my pay grade, technological something or other. But James is much better at that than me, so he was taking care of some of that. I'm listening, trying to gather what I can so I can contribute something. But at the same time, if you are good at those types of things and you want to get on the Zooms, or you want to go down to the commission meetings, or you want to stand in the line, or you want to picket, or you want to do whatever, like we need everyone from the we need the ditch diggers, and we need the doctors, and we need everybody in between. So whatever you can do, you better do something, because if you don't, it's going to be gone. 100%.
And I don't know how much more we can hit on that and how much harder we can hit on that, but it's the truth. If you're listening and you're not involved and you just go, oh, I'll get involved next time, or I'll do this, or I'll do that, it's going to be too late eventually.
It's going to be too late, because a good example is Biden administration just ex-nayed the whole hunting and archery application and funding for...
Oh, they're not a fan of hunters either.
No.
And so if the federal government
blatantly obvious.
It'd be one thing
if federal government
if Washington was on a runaway train. It'd be one thing if we were like rogue, but we also have the federal government right now backing what we're
them.
Doing.
Yeah.
So that makes it even worse. And then on top of that, like, we're in for a hell of a battle, folks. I hope you're ready for it, and I hope that hunters can unite, and we can get organized faster than we are, and we can pull money together, and we need teams of lawyers, and we need all this and that, and we just need to start really pushing hard back.
If you're a lawyer or attorney or know anyone that swings a big stick, like, reach out.
And some of them already have.
And we have, like, we have some stuff coming up. We don't have anything solid that we're going to tell you right now, but we have some stuff that where we're going to ask for your help, because we're going to put together some things that are going to make a difference with this fight. And it's going to be, it's going to take dollars, and it's going to take attorneys, and we're not taking it sitting down. I'll tell you that. So.
Nope. We're going to put our money where our mouth is, and put our mouth where our money is.
Yeah.
So, all right. That was a good answer. Good job, Chris. Let's see. What else here? This guy, Stan _619. I'm not sure who that is, but...
What's up, Stan?
What's up, Stan? Do you guys hunt in Washington? ? And what other species do you all hunt there? So...
Here's your sign.
I would say
we do a lot of our hunting.
We do a lot of hunting in Washington. Probably the majority of it. We've definitely ventured out a lot more. At least you guys have. But for those of us that don't have a lot of time, Washington's pretty much all we got. So
we've all hunted here.
Fair advantage,
since we were kids, basically.
100%.
But we hunt elk here, not very successfully, unfortunately,
it's very
because
tough.
Most of our elk died of hoof rot from various things, probably from timber companies poisoning the lands. But
in Western
if you want to dive into a whole nother can of worms with that,
hoof rot.
So
that's a rabbit hole.
We do still have some decent elk hunting in some pockets. And by decent, I mean you better be a damn good hunter to get one.
Yeah, right.
But
and the units are very special. You only get a very few units where it's any bull, or it's any elk, or it's
you got to get
spike
creative.
Bull, or a spike only, or it's.
I would say
very few and far in between.
Without getting too negative, because I can do that sometimes. I would say if you look at the back of Doug's truck, if it flies, it dies, and if it's brown, it's down. So that's what I do in Washington State.
Amen, brother.
If I have the time, whatever season it is, I don't care.
Yeah.
Deer, elk, bear, cougar. I'm a Washington State trapper. I'll do it all, 100%.
Yep. We dabble in waterfowl from time to time. I mean, we used to do a lot more when we were younger.
A lot more when
I was
younger. I mean,
younger,
the flyway is definitely a lot different than it used to be. I mean, the numbers are like completely night and day.
Right. It's not the same as it used to be.
Not at all.
Snow goose hunting. There's still some decent snow goose hunting if you have private
Yeah.
to hunt, which...
And the snow geese are tough.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that.
Yep.
You have to hunt them in numbers.
You have to have a bajillion decoys.
You gotta have about 2,000 decoys to even try.
But whatever you want to hunt,
Yeah. So we have
pretty much everything.
We hunt all 3 species of deer in Washington. We all do.
Yeah.
I mean, we've hunted. Me and Doug grew up hunting whitetails. We still hunt whitetails.
Grew up hunting muleys too.
Mule deer too. Yeah,
we're right there.
Fair amount of mule deer hunting.
And there's tons of blacktails over here.
Yeah, blacktail has been
that's kind of where we live. Is a lot of blacktail around here, so we take advantage of that throughout the year because it's local for us.
Right.
Turkey hunting.
There's tons and tons of turkeys.
We kill deer, and I was just thinking about this statistic. This is a as you say, what do you call it? # humble brag.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I was thinking about this the other day, and I was like, I have since I started hunting in 1999 was my first year I held a deer tag. I believe it was either 99 or 2000.
He's a baby, by the way, if you're doing the math.
Yeah. So.
Me too.
Since that very first tag, I have shot and tagged a deer every single year, and I am now 36. Whew. So
you've shot over 20 deer.
Oh yeah. Well, and then that's not including other states and stuff like that too. And some years I had plenty of second deer tags over the years too. So we're in the high. I don't even know how many deer I've killed, to be honest with you. It's a lot.
James has done very well for himself in this state for what we've had.
So
because
we're talking
baiting deer for the longest time was actually never legal. So it was kind of in the gray area for a minute.
Still, well, but they they've limited what you can do.
They've definitely limited it, but it's definitely now like a real thing.
And I never even really got into baiting deer until I was later in my 30s and trying to bait blacktails because it's so damn hard to hunt them.
Yeah, exactly.
And all of Western Washington is it's bait anywhere, like where you go here. Like when you say we're baiting deer, like, oh, you'll put a pile of apples out. Well, everyone has an apple tree here.
Yeah.
Apple trees, alfalfa fields, corn fields.
Everything here, everything is green, everything grows.
Yeah, baiting is...
Everything's
not
going to
do. It's not a guarantee for blacktails, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It's not a guarantee for any deer.
We never tried baiting deer for whitetails or for mule deer.
How many days did I put in for that buck? Behind us.
I feel like it was a bajillion.
I probably spent
45
days in the field, probably trying to cut a multi-season tag, trying to kill that.
Yeah. Well, we were trying to kill
a bigger one.
A bigger buck, but that buck, you couldn't pass on that buck. Yeah, no. It was like down to the wire. It was like in December, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was December.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I hope remember that because the next day I shot a buck.
Yeah, that's right. I hope that answers your question there, Stan.
Yeah.
We hunt a lot.
A lot of everything.
Yeah.
We take G-Hoff.
We take advantage of everything that we can get after.
Jeff.
No, it's G-Hoff.
G-Hoff.
G-Hoff.obst.
It's probably Jeff.
It's Jeff.
It's probably Jeff, but I mean he starts with a G.
Jeff's a good dude, by the way.
G.
Okay. Yeah. So you know him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if it's
he frequents my gun shop.
Is it GEOFF?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Jeff.
Okay. So Jeff, he asked, what is the oldest bear you've hunted after sending a tooth in to get it aged?
Ooh.
Would that be Slewfoot? You didn't actually kill that one.
No, I didn't kill Slewfoot. And no, that actually, I think Slewfoot was old, though. I'll have to ask Hardtalk how old he was. I know he was like way up there.
He was I think he was like, from
I
what you guys remember,
he was like in the
25.
late teens or 20s or maybe mid-20s.
Classic
I'm
Hartsock.
almost sure he's like 25.
All I
up,
know is
Hartsock?
the only reason Hartsock killed him was because he was deaf and blind. The bear was.
It's the old bear.
And one of these days, and this is going to be one hell of a podcast when we get Hartsock on here and he tells the story of Old Slewfoot. We can tell it together because it was quite a journey.
Yeah, because you guys spent a whole lot of time
Oh my
hunting
gosh,
that bear.
that was such a good hunt. But we'll save that for the Hartsock podcast when we have him on.
It's gonna be
But
a
that
good
was
one.
an old bear. My oldest bear was an ancient bear that was 22 years old.
Holy crap.
Yeah. I think my second oldest bear after that would probably be like 15. I killed that one last year. I got the age back. That one was 12, the one that we killed in that draw.
Oh.
Yeah. The other one was 6 or 5. Can't remember. The one that we got that freehand shot.
Man, that's
That's a good
time.
question. I don't know how old.
But think
my
about
bears are.
22 years old.
That's a
That's an
long
old
time.
bear.
Yeah.
That bear had like no teeth, and it was kind of I'll just give like a little piece of that story because that story is really funny, and I'm not going to tell the whole thing. Is when I shot it, the bear, like sometimes bears shit when you shoot them or something like. So this bear shit like right before I shot it, and I always like look at the shit because I want to know what they're eating. What is this bear eating? And I kid you not, in his shit was a foil wrapper from I think it was Burger King or something. And it was like in his shit, a perfectly formed wrapper. So someone up in the woods was like probably just eating a hamburger or cheeseburger or something. Oh no, it was a Wendy's. It was a Wendy's burger.
And threw partial of the burger
so
and
they
the wrapper
threw
out in the woods.
They threw it out in the woods and the bear ate it. And I just happened to shoot it and it had shit that foil wrapper out. And that bear was so old. It was a big bear too. But I'll tell that story a different time.
That's funny.
I don't know. I'm guessing it's probably that one, but I don't know how old that bear is.
Isn't that skull right there?
No, those are the new ones.
Oh, those are the new ones.
I got a bunch of other ones.
Did you get the new skull back yet?
No,
You haven't.
I asked the taxidermist. I was like, "Hey, what's that bear look like?" So the film that we were just watching.
Yeah.
Chris
shot the bear in the face.
In the head. You guys always
In
say
the
the
head.
face. I consider the face to be like down here or like right here. I think it's more appropriate to say head, like headshot. But
All right, whatever.
Okay, you wet blanket.
Chris shot it in the face.
It was turned slightly sideways, and it was like if you're watching on the YouTubes, and like imagine like this was a donut on top of a barrel because I'm on the quinault and they bait there, right?
Yeah.
And it like turns its head to like and like if you're watching, you would shoot like in the brain, right? I'm not shooting. I'm not trying to blow its face off, right? And I'm shooting with literally a SWAT sniper rifle prototype that I had built because I had built a bunch of them for the SWAT team.
Right.
And I'm like I Googled. You could ask Doug. I Googled like
he was all about the anatomy, trying to figure out exactly
skeletal
where he's got to
structure
put the bullet.
and brain and like because they don't have a very big brain, right? So you got to shoot them in the right spot because we're not trying to blow bears' faces off,
right.
But this gun shoots, quarter minute, so I'm like, I'm brain panning this thing.
hammering.
Yeah, and I did, and it was lights out.
Yeah.
Lights out. That's a no tracking job.
No.
All right.
100%.
Yeah.
You don't want to track a bear, you shoot it in the face.
Yep, but I don't suggest doing it unless you're a really good shot
Yeah.
and you have you're very confident with your gun and it's close range. If you're going to try to shoot a bear at 200 yards with a 6.5 Creedmoor, you're an idiot. Traveling Timber says, how to target mid-October bears on a low berry crop.
Ooh.
That is actually a really damn good question because that's about the time of year when bears start to really kind of disappear.
Because that's deer season here.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And there's a lot of gunfire, number one, the opening day. And I feel like
It's very random.
It's very hard to target bears that time of year.
I feel like the deepest, darkest canyons in the shit, because we've burned through most of the berries, and I feel like any of the leftover berries are going to be down in those like creek bottoms,
nasty,
and it's just nastier,
dark places,
yeah, and they're going to be buried down in there,
mm-hmm.
and it's terrible to hike down in there, and it's loud to hike down in there, and it's really hard to shoot a bear. So either it's going to be early morning or late afternoon. When you're going to see a bear moving around in there, maybe it's just like, how it's like super thick on each side of the creek. They don't move
around a lot.
They don't move around.
You might see them jump just up off the side of there, maybe, but they're probably not. Maybe they're eating on the fringes of that or something like that. But in my experience, that's where I've seen them, when guys do shoot bears during rifle season, deer rifle season here, because it is mid-October. Like
predator calling, though, that is
calling.
Probably one of your best bets in that time of year.
The last bear I shot was during deer season, and it was very, very random. It was laying on the side of a hill.
Really?
And I just so happened to see it just out of the blue.
Mm-hmm.
And there it was.
Like Doug says, the bears are where you find them.
The bears are where you find them.
I feel like definitely in the fall time, they're not going to be moving around a lot.
They're not like they're in September, beginning of September and August.
They've filled their bellies. They're starting to wind down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably going to turn on to meat.
Yeah, they'll turn on to a little bit more carnivorous for sure. They'll be looking for gut piles.
Dead animals. They'll be peeling stumps apart again, just like kind of like they do in the spring, and looking for grubs and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
They will switch on to, depending on where you're at. There are some berries that stay around longer. Those little ghost berries or snowberries or whatever you want to call them.
The last thing that's left out there.
Those will hang around all the way through October, and they'll jump onto those too and eat those. They're not as preferred as the other berries, obviously, but
they're gonna eat whatever they can get there.
Your best bet, honestly, I think, is just if you know where a bear is hanging, just trying to pick it apart and find them and predator calling.
Yeah,
because they are more carnivorous. Like if you start hammering a fawn in distress or something like that, or jackrabbit, there's a good chance
you're gonna have a good chance for
that
sure
a bear's gonna come out and pop out and look for a free meal.
Yeah,
so I would say do some research on calling, get better at it.
Because they know that they're about to go into hibernation, and they're really trying to pack on those calories there at the last minute. So if you really try and pound that predator calling, they're most likely you're going to have a pretty good chance.
So this is just a little fun fact. The latest bear I've ever killed was like the very end of September. So
it's pretty wild.
Mm-hmm. No, maybe I did kill one in October once.
I killed that bear right there, like probably October 19th.
Really?
Yeah, 20th maybe.
Berries, or what was it doing?
That's almost the same day that I think that I shot mine.
We were deer hunting. It was hot, and deer hunting was shit. And I told the guys, I said, hey, let's go up to the spot over here. And nobody wanted to go with me because it was like a 2-hour drive when you got to leave in the dark, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, I'm going to go shoot a bear tomorrow. I'll be back. And so I took my buddy's dad, old Smokey Joe, and we go up, and it was just freaking thick with guys hunting deer. I mean, everywhere. And the spot I wanted to go, where I knew I was going to kill a bear, there was too many guys there. And I'm like, well, shit, Joe, I'm sorry. But then, like, the road goes right along the edge. I mean, I'm talking steep. And it's like a solid 200 yards down. I mean, it is a deep canyon, maybe 250, right? It's a long ways down.
Gosh, such a nice color.
Oh, it was a beautiful bear, yeah. And I'm trying to look, and we're driving around, and so I'm driving back around, and so the steep side of the hill is the upside is on my side, and Joe's like, I won't let him smoke in my truck, and he smokes like a chimney. And he's like, it's been like 3 minutes. Yeah, you better pull over and you smoke. I'm like, all right. And so
sounds like Uncle Bert.
I stop, and he lights a cigarette, and he's like, classic Joe. He's like, well, your bear's right there. And I'm like, yeah, okay, Joe, right. I'm sitting in the truck, and I'm kind of irritated, because I'm tired because I got up at dark 30s, and I don't like smoke, I'm not a cigarette guy, and I was like, yeah, because the smoke's just like billowing through the truck, And he's like, well, whatever, there's a bear right there, if you want to shoot it. and like that nonchalant. And I'm like, really, Joe? Because he's always messing with me, always, right? And I'm like, he's like, no, seriously, there's a bear right there. And I'm like, so I grab my gun. I'm like, yeah, right. So I get out of the truck and I look, and sure shit, that fucking big old bear is down in the very bottom in the brush, and he's weaving his way through. But you can kind of see because there was like a little goat trail through the bottom of it, along the creek. And so I get down there and, shoot this bear in the bottom. This whole Joe can't, he can't walk up a set of stairs, let alone, crawl down it. So it sucked, dude. It sucked to pack because it was all the way down on the bottom, and it was hot and steep. But yeah, it was
a big bear too.
Yeah, it was a big bear. Yeah. Yeah, those hams sucked back out.
And you learned your lesson. Shoot a bear uphill.
Yeah, shoot him uphill, dude.
He didn't learn a lesson.
Yeah.
Nope. He does the same stuff.
I still do. Yeah.
You shoot the bears where they are.
Yeah.
That's just, we've done a lot of dumb pack outs because we shoot them where they are.
Yeah.
But that's part of the fun.
Down 1,000-yard.
That bear rug that I got on the wall in the gun shop.
Oh, yeah.
I had to get roped out.
Really?
Swear to God.
Damn.
Yeah. I contemplated shooting this bear for like 15 minutes. I was like, I can't get down there. Oh, I think I get down there. And I shoot this bear, and I was like, I got down there, but I couldn't get out. And they had to get ropes and get me out. Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. It was so dumb.
Wow.
Well, that's fun. That's a good story, dude.
Yeah,
that's the way it should be.
Those are the memories that you keep forever.
Should we do one more question, or you guys want to call it?
One more.
Let's do one more.
Okay. So this one says, there's two other questions here. I'm just going to get to one. Can you walk us through your procedure on a sit calling mountain lions? Well, I can walk you through what I would do or what I have done. I have not successfully called in a mountain lion and killed it. I've called them in and had them close and circling around and never actually got a shot. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Do you have any tips on that, or should I lead with this one?
Well, a couple things. Like, I think that when you predator call any large predator, just black bears and cougars, I guess, in Washington, it takes a lot of time. Like, people don't understand how much time it takes. Like, it's
right. It's not immediate.
No, it's like
you gotta sit for a little while.
Yeah, it's like a 45-minute thing, I would say. So I think that I'm gonna give a shout out to old Doug Bose's book here, because he just did a cat calling book.
Calling cats calling cougars and caging cats.
Yeah. Good job, Doug. I'm not a book writer, I wish I could take all of the years of hunting that I have and all the information I've learned and put it in a book, but that's not my forte. Right. So good on Doug. So I would say, he details out some of that stuff, but I know that it's not a quick thing. It's not roll through a canyon and call and just keep moving.
Yeah.
It's you sit and you wait, and you got to be. The thing is, like, cougars are so freaking quiet.
Yep, they're
and it's not a guarantee it's going to happen either.
Right.
No, I think you can do all that predator calling you want,
and honestly, they could have come in and winded you and seen you, and you'll never know it. Like,
yep.
They're super, super crafty.
Mm-hmm. And they're not going to make a bunch of noise coming in probably ever unless they're in really thick
and let's
stuff.
be realistic. If you're predator calling, you're not just calling for cats. You're not just calling for bears. You're not just calling for coyotes. You're calling for all of them.
Oh, predators. I'm pulling.
Right.
I'm yanking
just all of them in general. You have no idea what's going to show up.
Yeah,
right.
like
unless it was like late season and everything's closed except for mountain lion, which it goes all the way into April now. But even then, if a coyote comes in, you're going to shoot it.
September 1st.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I'm going to be shooting everything.
The season might not be open for that said predator, but when you're predator calling, the majority of the time you could have anything come in.
So when I've had success and actually called in a cat, it was like, I think 30 minutes in before it came into where I could have saw it, but I mean, it was so thick where I was that I couldn't even see it come in. And I didn't find out until afterwards, and I did a little circle around. I was like, oh shit, a cat came in because there was snow.
Yeah.
And And when I usually set up for bobcats or coyotes or anything really, I started using the little tail thing.
Just to
Fox
draw
Pro
'em
makes
in.
one. There's a couple other companies that make them, but they basically just have a little spring thing with a little tail, or you can get a feather or whatever, and it just whips that thing around in like sporadic motion and then stops. And that for cats, I think, makes a big deal because it pulls their attention away from what's just the sound it's making and actually gives it a visual. Yeah. And it gives you a little bit of an upper hand to kind of...
It might draw them in just a little bit more to where you can actually finally see
I'll try to set up downwind from wherever I think they're going to come from. And I'll try to get in some thick cover and get myself secluded to where I feel like they can't see me because cats have really good eyesight. Mm-hmm. And then usually, I think when I've done fawn and distress call. But I've heard that rabbit works too. So
Yeah, depending on where you're at, what kind of critters are around.
We're not like super experts on that. We've called in a lot of coyotes.
Well, we plan on, we're trying to make a better effort, I think.
We're going to try our asses off this year.
As a company to go out and like really whack some predators. This fall,
It's definitely needed.
We put hurting on some bears already this year in the spring, so the fall we plan on finishing strong. So hopefully with some cats and some more bears, obviously. And
I mean, we still have between the three of us 6 bear tags to fill. So
hammer time.
we're going to be doing some damage.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So get ready.
Yeah.
Who knows what's going to happen?
Mm-hmm. And we're going to definitely try to put a hurting on some mountain lions for sure.
Yeah. No, I can't wait for September 1. I'm excited. Yeah.
It's going to be good. So we'll definitely let you know what works when it happens.
Yeah, you'll see it on the Instagrams.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We're gonna hit it hard. I want to do multiple call sets. There's probably a half a dozen areas that I know a ton of cats are in that I want to call. There's also wolves in some of those areas too, so that's going to be a little interesting if a pack of wolves comes in, but
might bring
that just brings up a whole nother subject.
Yeah.
That we can't really.
There's too many wolves in this area that we are hunting in now.
They're pushing everything around.
Everything has been so messed up. The deer populations have plummeted. The moose populations have plummeted. Elk, I don't know. Elk seem to be kind of coming into that area, and I think they're just getting pushed into that area.
They're getting pushed in. It's not the elk population is increasing. They're getting pushed into those areas.
Yeah.
For 100%, because I've never ever seen elk in some of these areas that they're showing up in, and it's just like, what's the answer for that?
They're just getting pushed around from predators and stuff. So, go get yourself a cougar tag, people. Have a cougar tag in your pocket, no matter what you're hunting this year: deer, elk, bears.
A cougar tag and a bear tag.
Yep,
very important.
Have those in your pocket so that if you're not a big time predator hunter, that you can capitalize on it when it happens.
Yeah.
That's my advice for the day.
100%. What else did we want to touch base on before we
I think that's pretty much covers it.
Was there more giveaway that we wanted to talk about? Can't remember.
Did we have anybody from the last one? This is the worst part. Like, I don't remember. Guys, it's been like a month.
It's been a while, guys.
It's 10:30 at night. We've been up since dark 30 working. I don't know.
If we did do a giveaway on the last podcast, we apologize. We'll go back and watch it.
We'll get you on the flip side.
We'll get you on the next one.
I don't think we did.
Yeah, I don't think we did either.
Yeah, because it's been such a long time.
So go leave a comment on this one, and you guys can be entered for this lovely prize pack.
Get out, shoot a bear. Tag us on the Instas.
Oh yeah, we're doing a giveaway right now.
Yeah,
doing a giveaway. Also, James, would you like to dedicate this to anybody?
Oh well, my dad, who passed on 4th of July since the last time. No, I think it was. Did we do another?
It was just before. The last podcast we did was just before the 4th.
That's right.
It's been a month,
Yeah, it's been a minute.
So there's been a lot that's happened, but yeah, my dad was my biggest advocate and to get me into the outdoors. So dedicate this one to you, Pops.
Yeah. Special meaning.
Yep. And I think we're going to be
this to him.
dedicating the film that we're working on to
100%.
Well.
Yeah.
So
we'd like to dedicate all of the hunting experiences this year to him.
Yep. Doug's had a lot of good stories with my dad as well, and Chris got to meet him and hang out with him a little bit at the end there, and that was
life's short.
Yep.
Time it's not promised, you know.
No, get out there and spend that time.
Yeah.
Spend the money, do the hunt.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
Drink the beer, kiss the girl.
Yeah.
Buy the truck. Shoot the bear.
Shoot the bear, that's right.
In the face.
In the face. Well, for that, guys, we'd like to stay humble and hunt hard, guys.